Hi there. Let's start with an introduction to missiology. So it's quite a broad field, and we have to kind of first figure out what our focus will be. So missiology, in this case, is an academic study, in particular of Christian missions. Other religions also have their own missiology. So it will be of Christian missions, God's mission, and the Latin Missio Dei. So there's different focuses, which is the nature of the mission, the goal, why this mission, and then the method of the mission. And we will do all of that in this particular course. So we study, therefore, the nature of God, who is God, from whom this mission derives. We will look at the created world, the church, and then the ways that all three interact. And by the church, we mean all believers combined. So in particular, we're interested in the difference between God's mission and missions. So God's mission really embodies what God is doing in the world, his work, what the overall purpose is of everything, and the calling of all believers who joined God in his work. Missions are pretty much the activities that we do as we join God in his work. Now, Missio Dei is a fancy term, a Latin term, that pretty much is a different word for mission, but it really emphasizes that God is the one that initiates this, and that he is also the one that sustains his mission as we participate in all these activities. In 1984, a group came together in the Anglican Church, so the Church of England, and decided on what the 5 marks, the 5 parts of mission are. The textbook that we have mentions it, and so we will also use this as part of our course. And so the one mentioned in the textbook, here are the 5, really has the one that's adopted in 1996 by the General Synod of the Church of England, so it's Anglican, but it went to several renditions. Now, it has some criticisms along the way. Some people say there's not really an even emphasis on each one of the 5 marks, if you will, but overall it's been widely received. It has a strong evangelical emphasis, and it has had different emphases throughout time in different large mission conferences, in particular the one in Lausanne, and we will talk about that when we address the history of mission. Now, in this course, Missiology, we will address a variety of topics. Some of them might be familiar to you, some of them might be brand new. We will study missions in light of the biblical account, and we will do so as the Bible being seen as a big narrative of mission. At the very end of the course, you will articulate your own mission theology and philosophy. We will look at paradigms of missions because the history of mission didn't just kind of, very suddenly, just kind of subtly kind of progress. No, there were big turns, paradigms, if you will. We will look at other world religions, but we will not look at them in boxes, if you will. Other world religions are actually rather fluid. If you take a world religion course, it's often presented as if every religion kind of stands on its own, but in practicality, when we encounter people, we will see that it's not always neatly in its own little corner. We will talk about something called diaspora missiology, because we have so many people who are displaced. We will talk about creation care. We will talk about how to present the gospel to people who come from different contexts and different world views, and what kind of methodologies there are. We will get very practical as well. What is life like if you live life with a missional focus, or right here in your church, if you want to have a missional church, or if you want to live in another region of the world, what would that look like, single, as a family? what kind of funding methods do you use? We will actually talk about how current fundraising methods came about, what the history is behind it, and what some different models are as we see missions and mission sending shift around the globe. So I'm excited about it, and we will continue to progress through these topics as I have you think through what is missiology.